Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Double Play CLE. Paul here alongside Jay,
Rock on.
the, the ever mute Jay. Joining us from the Renegade Roundtable, our buddy Jeff Kirby.
What do you do, baby?
Well, since it is football season, boys, we should probably talk about the Browns' two-game win streak, which is actually an abnormality in most cases. The Browns have really struggled to pick up back-to-back wins since 1999. Your thoughts on a 39-38 Cleveland Browns victory, kind of a last-second victory over the Indianapolis Colts?
Well, I guess PJ Walker is our franchise quarterback.
Oh, God.
Give him $230 million.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, so here's what I say about this game, and this is obviously coming from an outsider's perspective in terms of fans. First and foremost, Myles Garrett. You don't win that game without Myles Garrett. That dude played his ass off. He was out there just wrecking the game in all kinds of ways. Special teams, strip sacks. He's unbelievable. Defensively, it seemed like Gardner Minshew was actually able to kind of do what he wanted for most of the game, which was a little surprising based on the fact of how well that this defense has been playing for the Browns all year long, to be honest. And then you get offensively, where obviously Deshaun Watson was, not good. 1 for 5 for 5 yards, 1 interception, and very well could have been a second interception, but it got ruled incomplete, which ended up being the correct call. But yeah, Deshaun Watson played 12 snaps versus PJ Walker, who ended up having to come in and then place the rest of the 63 snaps. And if you listen to the press conference of Kevin Stefanski, this is what's weird about this whole thing. So Kevin Stefanski said that he held out to Deshaun Watson even though he had cleared concussion protocol. He held him out. So then he goes out there and says that he's going to be the starter next week for Seattle. Go back and listen to what Deshaun Watson says about that. He says, we'll have to see. Seems like there's a little bit of a disconnect there. But that's kind of, going off base for half a second. But yeah, overall in this game, I mean, Jerome Ford, he had the long run, and then after that was not good at all. He was simply not good. You would like to see more of Kareem Hunt. Amari Cooper not getting involved at all, really. He only had 2 catches for 22 yards. He had 8 targets, which a lot of those, if I'm not mistaken, came late in that game because there was a time where he did not have a target for the longest part of this game. And then, yeah, other than that, this game was it's a game that if you're a Browns fan, that you'd love to see them win because you've seen this far too many times where they find ways to lose that game. Just like the game they did last week against San Francisco. Those are games that they typically find a way to lose, but instead they come out and they're victorious twice.
Couple things I want to touch on. I do agree with Myles Garrett. He had a block kick, which was pretty cool to see. He had like a Troy Polamalu style block kick. Like he jumped the line and got in there. That was pretty cool. You love to see that. I would second the Kareem Hunt thing. I don't know why. I guess I do know why Jerome Ford starts over him, but I feel like it's pretty obvious at this point. Like, okay, Kareem Hunt still remembers the offense and everything, so why don't we I don't know. Kareem Hunt just runs so much better. I don't know how no one picked him up.
Well, because I think a lot of it was because they didn't know how much more he had left in the tank in terms of, did he lose speed, all this and that. But what's crazy is it's like, okay, we get that Jerome Ford starting. Okay, got no problem with that. But how is Pierre Strong getting more snaps than Kareem Hunt? Pierre Strong had 23 snaps. Kareem Hunt only played 19. I didn't get a little. I didn't get. Now, Kareem Hunt seemed like he got more touches, but still, I don't know. Seems a
Yeah,
little.
It almost seems like this team is a little bit lost without Deshaun Watson and uh, Nick Chubb, and it's almost
yeah.
like they're trying to find their offensive identity still. And you're still 4-2 heading into Seattle, and you're struggling to figure out your offensive identity. That's an interesting place to be because you never know what's going to happen week to week. I'm
I
not a
think
huge fan of the play calling by Kevin Stefanski in general, and I think by the end of this season he'll be gone. I think a lot of that's going to hinge on what happens with Deshaun Watson because let's be honest here. You paid Deshaun Watson $230 million. He's staying. Stefanski's the one who's on the hot seat.
here's what I'm going to say about what you just said, Paulie. And this is an argument that I've been having with some of my friends some of my other friends for a little bit, especially with this season about Stefanski. And you specifically mentioned the play calling. The play calling's been okay. The concepts are there. The schemes are there. It was just obviously the execution of the plays. I mean, for a while, people were saying they were, when Deshaun Watson was not playing well going into this year, because I mentioned before last year, I don't count. Going into this year, Watson's not playing well, and people wanted to blame that on Stefanski. It's not the case. When you go and actually look at the film, when you go and break down the all 22, guys are open. He simply was just not missing it. He was just simply missing the guys. He was simply missing. So
are
now,
you saying that
I do
Deshaun
agree
Watson is possibly a bust for $230 million?
Well, considering right now he's not been playing so well, but and I think part of the bad part about this as well is the fact that he's a rhythm guy. You saw what? Now he did not play a game of football for God knows how long, and then goes out there last year and is rusty. Okay. You figure you spend those last 6 games, you get the rust off, call it a day. And then you come into this year and you expect him to ball out. It clearly seems like anytime he has to miss time, he's rusty as hell. And that could be a little concerning.
Especially since he's probably going to miss next week in Seattle by all indications.
Well, like I said, it all depends on who you talk to. According to Kevin Stefanski, he's going to be the starter next week. And if you talk to Deshaun Watson, he says he don't know.
I'm going to talk to the person who's actually going to be out on the field potentially. I think he would know better than the coach at that point.
Well, we all know how that goes.
So, overall, your grade for this game, how did the Browns do? A through F?
I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give it a B because they played. Obviously, the defense gave up 38 points. But I think the reason why I'm giving it a B is because the fact that it's, again, one of those times where they're in a shootout, they're finding a way to win these close games. And no one has mentioned it yet. I'll go ahead and mention it now. Yes, the Cleveland Browns for back-to-back weeks probably got 2 phantom calls to help them win the game. But you know what? Me being a Steelers fan, we had the same exact thing that happened to us later that day. So I'm not going to bitch and complain. It happens. And you know what? It's a certain thing of when you are on the right side of those calls and they benefit you, you're just like, oh, well. And obviously for Browns fans, you guys have seen that far too many times where you guys have been on the wrong side of it. So to actually go and be on the right side of it, hey, you'll take it all day long, as you should.
2 things. One, I was going to close with that. You've just been going on, so it's like you do your thing.
I do when I get to talking football.
And then Paul just asked our grades, and I was like, wow, what a perfect time to mention the penalty. But yet, rob me of it again. As far as the penalty goes, I don't really give a shit, like as far as like caring about it or anything like that. A win's a win, and basically just as you stated, is if it was the other team, they'd be okay with it. So I'm okay with it too. Was it a phantom call? Yes. Were there missed calls? Yes. Are there missed calls in every single sports game ever played ever? Yes. Do the Houston Astros still count as world champions for the 2000, what is it, 19 season? 17 season?
17.
Paul, do they still count?
They haven't taken it off the wall yet.
So I will take my dub with the missed referee penalty. In my opinion, to one of Paul's points, get the refs in trouble. Then they'll be more worried about making the right call. They should, go find them.
Here's part of the issue with that.
Oh, I don't care. I don't want to argue that.
Well,
I don't
no,
wanna
I'm
argue
not.
that.
But I'm just because we always hear that about firing refs and this, that, and their blah blah blah. It's just
I didn't say fire. I didn't say fire.
No.
I
I'm
said
saying in general. I'm not saying you didn't say that. Yeah, you didn't say that, but like in general, we hear fans every week say, "Oh, this ref should be fired." Blah 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 blah. Part of the issue is they're a part of their own union, and in order for them to, or for us to be able to speak to them after games and make them go through a press conference of what they saw and what the decision making was, blah blah blah. Part of the issue is you can't physically do that unless they agree upon it in a CBA, and obviously seems like they're never going to want to do that. So, seems like here we are.
As far as the Browns did, I think they did extremely well for what happened. Considering Deshaun Watson went out, considering we're playing with missing what should be two of our top three offensive players, if not top two offensive players. I think we're doing pretty damn good for ourselves. That's all I really got to say about that. As far as the ref thing goes, it sucks when you're on the other side of a call. Believe me, we were all here for that Kansas City game in the playoffs, and it is what it is. But as far as I go, I just think it's part of the game, and I like it. I wouldn't have it any other way, which is why I'm big against robo-umps. And I like keeping umpires and referees and everything humans because it creates a certain element of the game that, my dad always said, you don't want the refs to decide the game, don't let them. Put more points on the board. It is what it is. So.
That's a wise man. Well, let's look ahead.
The Browns defense is amazing. So let's look ahead to.
Yeah, I actually have something here because it's going to be a 4:05 kick on Fox Sunday. The 4-2 Browns against the 4-2 Seahawks, a battle of two top 5 defenses. The number 1 ranked Cleveland Browns defense against the number 4 ranked Seattle defense. But I find
Are we number 1?
We are number 1. I find this interesting, though.
LFG.
The Browns are 7th in the league in rushing versus 22nd for Seattle on the rush. I don't really understand how the Browns could be that high on the list in the top 10 of rushing teams when it seems like the offense really doesn't want to be a rush first offense.
What do you mean by that? Like the players?
Like it seems like from what I've seen, Stefanski would rather throw the ball than run the ball.
Okay,
he's had great running backs.
That has nothing to do with how. Oh, so you're just talking about yeah, but then look at like Jerome Ford. How long was that one run he had? It was it like 98 yards or something like that? Weren't we like all the way in the end zone? Or am I tripping? Was it like 60?
You talking about the 69 yarder from yesterday?
Yeah, okay, yeah, 69.
It was like 69 yards. Nice.
I would say it was either 68 or 98. I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, it was 68.
Okay, so right there, that's I don't know. You don't see running backs. I don't know if you guys have been watching this year, but I've been betting again. So I've been watching most of the games, And they're not, as far as people are running the ball still, but as far as what's going on here? What's going on here? Hello,
Whoever that
hi.
is, hello. Oh
Hello,
wait, that's
hi.
me. Hello.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was gonna respond, but then I read it and I was like, "Is this the Krusty Krab?" I'm not noticing a whole lot of run plays. I'm not noticing a whole lot of running plays doing well. You don't see those breakaway runs or anything this year, or am I crazy? Like I haven't seen anything like that. It's been very like the running backs that are doing well. Who are the top running backs in the league?
Well, I
I don't
mean,
even know who that is. Do
you
you?
obviously you have guys like Christian McCaffrey. You have guys
No,
like
I'm asking. Do you know who's the number one in yards right now? Because I
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
Who?
it's Christian McCaffrey.
In rushing yards? Is
Yep.
it? Okay. Who's next? Who's number two? Because I definitely don't know that. Is it Derrick
Zach
Henry?
Moss from the Colts.
Okay, he was leading like a week or two ago. Because I did read that. I did read about that.
And then
Which I'm
behind
sorry.
him is DeAndre, not Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
And then behind that, you have Travis Etienne. And then behind that, you have Raheem Mostert from Miami.
Yeah, these are all I know all these people, so it's not like who, but it's like these are not top list names for sure. Like, and
I
then you
would say
got
ETN is. I would say ETN is, and obviously Christian McCaffrey. But yeah, I mean, like obviously,
obviously
you know,
Christian McCaffrey.
if you're a football fan,
ETN's
you
a
know
great
obviously about these guys. But if you're a super hard casual, then you may not know who Zach Moss is or Raheem Mostert or
I think the casual doesn't know who ETN is. Shit, I still have trouble saying his name.
I mean, Jacksonville's kind of flying under the radar, you would think, for the average fan. It's been the laughing stock of the NFL for so long that having one or two good seasons, I'm
Yeah,
with Justin on this.
my buddy forgot that Urban Meyer even coached in the NFL. I was talking
To
to
be
Tyler and I
fair,
said something about yeah, I know
well,
they would like for people to forget that he coached in the NFL. Oh. I would say, huh, Jeff?
yeah, something like
Paul,
that.
Paulie, what did you say? Because you froze up. Repeat what you just said. Oh, God bless America.
I was just going to point out that the win probability as of right now on Caesar Sportsbook, 60% to Seattle, 40% to Cleveland. Seattle with a minus 165 on the odds, plus 140 for the Cleveland Browns. Are you taking the money here? Do you bet on the Browns to beat Seattle?
Who's the plus?
The plus is Cleveland.
In Seattle? Nah, that
In
12th
Seattle.
man. That 12th man. They actually have their full thing. I think we've just been kind of and you know, I may get flamed for this. I've actually noticed Browns fans have started to become a little bit more realistic. But I think we'll get a little I don't want to say exposed because I don't think you know what I've noticed, and I'm sorry, it's a long way to get to my point, is that I think the Browns know that they got a long road ahead of them. And usually we're a little cocky, and this year we're not so cocky. It's kind of play fundamental football. Sometimes stuff happens to just fall into place. It happens all the time. So I don't think you take the Browns, but every time I don't take the Browns, they win. So, I mean,
Here's what I'd say about them is when you talk about Seattle, Geno Smith is not a bad quarterback at all. Coming into the year, he has to have a touchdown, 4 picks. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback at all. Kenneth Walker's a monster. Coming out of running back, had another 100-yard game last week. Dude's a dog. And then you get into Seattle's wide receiver core. DK Metcalf, we're not sure if he's going to play this week, so that'd be a huge loss for Seattle. Still have Jackson Smith and Jigba. Still have Tyler Lockett. So there's 2 more guys. So you have still 2.
arguably,
those 2 guys to deal with. Noah Fant, he's not a bad tight end at all. And then defensively, they're giving up some yards. Defensively, they're giving up close to 350 yards per game. So you can go out there and do do some damage out there on offense, even if it is PJ Walker out there again.
Arguably, there's some weeks I'd rather have Tyler Lockett than DK Metcalf. So I'm not too banged up about missing him. Like I wouldn't be if I was a Seahawks fan. I don't know. Playing in Seattle is pretty scary, I hear. So that plays a lot into it for me. Again, not to say we're going to get exposed, but I think our lack of what am I trying to say? Our missing players are going to show. It's especially if Watson doesn't play. The thing that's really making me mad about Watson is keep going around to him is that I can't tell if he's good or not because he doesn't play more than like 2 or 3 games in a row. So I have no real and then it's hard to, as a person, you don't want to be like, oh, he's not hurt if he really is. So, I mean, I don't know.
I was just looking at the points totals. Seattle has outscored Cleveland this year 144 to 128, which I find a little bit interesting because I don't know that a lot of the average fan is looking at Seattle as a heavy scoring team, and maybe they're not. But if the Browns have this questionable offense, that could be a problem for a team heading into Seattle that really needs to come out of here with their 3rd straight win in order to solidify themselves as a favorite, not just in the AFC North, but in the entire playoff picture. And boy, I did not think we'd be talking about that heading into the Seattle game.
What it's like to
Here's
be a
what I'd
fan
say
of a
about
team of
Seattle's
AFC
offense.
North.
Seattle's offense is a team they've put up 30 in multiple games this year. I want to say there's been 3 games this year where they've put up over 30, so that they have that possibility. But like you said, in terms of if you want to look at the bigger picture with the AFC, let's just talk about the division for a sec. You have Pittsburgh, who's at home against Jacksonville, so that's an AFC game, and obviously you would probably you'd want Jacksonville to win that game if you're a Browns fan. And then you go to the Ravens are at Arizona, which Arizona they're not a good team, but they play hard. But yet again, we just saw the Ravens put an obliteration on Detroit.
Dude, who are the
hot.
Ravens? Who are the Ravens? They're not even they don't even have anyone. Like, what is even going on?
Lamar is literally
Lamar's crazy.
And then
Lamar's crazy. I want Lamar to go somewhere else so I can root for him and buy his jersey.
Well, you're gonna be waiting a while on that because he signed a 5-year deal earlier this year.
I know. I was hoping he would leave, and I don't even mean that. As hate towards Baltimore. I just want to be able to. I don't know. I might just say fuck it and root for him anyway.
And then you have Cincinnati, who was on the road at San Francisco, which, yes, San Francisco's lost 2 straight because as we're recording this, the game ended not too long ago, and they lost to the Vikings. Great, they're still a good team. You still got to get
No, they're trash, bro. They don't. They don't have.
There it is.
Are you
kidding? There it is.
They don't have anyone. I don't like their team all put together and healthy is a great team. They're missing Trent Williams. They're missing Deebo Samuel. CMC is not operating at full capacity. Brock Purdy's ass, bro. Put it down right now. Brock Purdy is straight ass.
At 24-13, can we please clip that?
That dude's not good. They still got no, they don't have a Bosa. Yeah, they do, don't they?
Yes, they have Nick Bosa, who is the reigning defending Defensive Player of the Year.
They have Bosa, who's not right now. I can tell you that much. He's definitely not the Defensive Player of the Year right now.
Yeah, because right now, whoever's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year is coming out of the North. It's literally becoming almost a two-player race between TJ and Miles.
Oh, okay, so there you go.
But I mean, he's to say that San Francisco's not a good team. Oh my god!
At full capacity, they're a great team. But right now, they just lost to fucking 2 mediocre teams, Jeff. Like, what do you want? Like, in a row. What do you want? Now, on the road, 2 games, in cold ass Cleveland and cold ass Minnesota. Like that probably sucks. Well, no, they're rich, so they probably did go home in between. Yeah, they got to practice and stuff like that. But like, I'm just explain that they lost to 2 mediocre teams in a row. You lost your receiver that made Purdy look good, along with your running back that made. I don't know what was Christian McCaffrey's line today. Was he healthy? I
He
didn't actually
played.
watch the game. I know he played and he scored a touchdown, but I fell asleep, old man style, halfway through. So I don't know what he did after that, or if he did anything after that.
I actually have CFC
Yeah, he did not play
stats
that
here.
well.
No, it was
15 for
absolutely
40.
dreadful. 15 carries, 45 yards. He did have a touchdown, but he only averaged 3 yards per carry. It was not a Christian McCaffrey game.
And that's what, dude, Jeff, you're sitting there with your migraine look, but that's exactly what's going to happen because they're going to lean on McCaffrey, and everybody knows that they're going to do that, so he's going to get stuffed half the time, and Brock Purdy's not good enough. Even George Kittle couldn't save him. George Kittle had he had a good number of yards.
If you want to talk shit about Brock Purdy, I got no issues with that because I think a lot of us maybe really, I think especially going into last week and now this week, it really shows that there's a reason why he was the last pick in the draft. I have no issue with that. But come on.
You haven't given me any defense. That's all you've just said is come on.
Because it's literally it's some of the
Come on.
foolish
Come
shit
on.
I've heard. So let me ask this. When it comes to San Francisco, are they going to win their division or are they just going to plummet and fall from grace of God? And
so who do they play this week? Because this week should
at home against Cincinnati.
Okay, this week should be an easy tell if they're going to plummet or not. If they go home and then lose, since you won last week, isn't Cincy kind of back on track? Or are they still figuring themselves out? I can't remember.
I mean, they put up 34. They put up their best offensive game against Arizona, who's still fighting for the first pick, and Seattle. Right. They only scored 17, and it took a game-winning interception for them to win that game. So.
Okay, so Cincinnati, what is going on with them? Okay, so exactly. If they come home with Debo should come back this week. It's either this week or next week. He was only out 2 weeks. I don't know about Trent Williams. But if they come back home this week, especially if they get Debo Samuel back, and they lose at home, yes, they're gonna plummet. I couldn't see how I don't see why you wouldn't think that. I'm just speaking what I see. I'm not I don't necessarily hate or dislike San Francisco. I actually I like Christian McCaffrey. I think he's a good ball player, if not the best running back we've seen in the past 4 or 5 years. B, well, I don't know about that because I'm a Nick Chubb fan, but B, I like the way they use Debo Samuel, and I like George Kittle. He's a cool guy. I'm just calling him like I see him.
And that's actually what I was going to get to because you talked about George Kittle for just a moment. He only had 2 targets in the game against the Browns 2 weeks ago. In this game, this Monday night game against Minnesota, 7 targets, 5 catches, 78 yards. That sounds a little bit more like how you'd want to use George Kittle. And they, for whatever reason, San Francisco just completely ignored him when they came to Cleveland. You almost wonder how different that game would have been had they used more George Kittle.
Maybe he was covered better. Because the game before that, he caught 3 touchdowns or whatever. I don't know if maybe he rushed one of them or whatever, but he had 3 touchdowns that game.
Yeah, it was against Dallas because they fucking obliterated Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas sucks too. I say it every freaking year. Nobody ever listens to me.
You can't say that every year. Eventually, it's going to not be true.
It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. I was just going to say, but it's not true. If it was true, I wouldn't say it. They suck every year.
They always find a way.
Year.
They find a way every year.
Anyway, back to the subject. I'm not trolling. I'm not out here trying to hurt. So I don't even know a true San Francisco 49er fan. Like,
I sadly know a couple.
I'm just saying I don't dislike the team. I don't dislike the players. I don't dislike Mike Shanahan. I don't dislike anyone. Kyle, is
You
it
mean
Mike?
Kyle
Is it
Shanahan?
Kyle? I would say, is it Mike? Is it Kyle? Is there a Mike Shanahan or am I crazy?
Yes, there was. He was an old coach.
Okay.
I know he coached for the Broncos and
So I'm just calling them like I see them. They look like they suck right now. Brock Purdy looks shitty without 2 stars. He doesn't.
I
look
can
like
agree.
he can
That
carry the
I have
team.
no issue with saying. He's not been that great over the last couple weeks. I can agree with that. But I think part of it too is everyone expected San Francisco to go on this just magical 17-0 run. We were legitimately seeing people saying, "Oh yeah, they're going 17-0." They just get these high expectations, so high of expectations on them. Okay, they fumble a couple games. They're gonna be fine. It's not they're gonna be fine. They'll end up winning their division, and then we'll go on
Who's
about
in their
business.
division?
Who's in that division? You have Seattle. You have the Cardinals,
So wait, are they tied now then? Because are they 4-2 now too?
who?
Because they were undefeated going into the game against us, right?
So they're 5-2 because they haven't gone on their bye yet.
They're 5-2. Okay, all right. So they're still ahead.
And then you have the
49ers are
Rams.
5-2. Seahawks are 4-2. Rams 3-4, and then the Cardinals, of course, struggling at 1-6.
I
That's
wonder
really
who
obnoxious.
I wonder who one of them losses were to the Rams. I wonder who gave them one of them losses.
I would like
Hey, let's just look at the way too early playoff picture, which right now has the Cleveland Browns sitting at the 6th seed.
It does. I seen that actually.
That's nuts.
So right now, you guys would face the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore.
Oh, that's an L. Never mind. We'll just go home.
You can't say that.
So right now,
yeah,
if the playoffs were today, Buffalo, the 7th seed, would play at Miami. Cleveland would play at Buffalo or at Baltimore, and then Pittsburgh would play at Jacksonville, which we're going to see a preview of that on Sunday. But
how about the Patriots beating Buffalo though?
Buffalo, man, Buffalo's looking rough. Buffalo does not look good. They're struggling.
Buffalo's not look good. New England hasn't looked good.
Yeah, well,
I know that was
the team that's supposed to they have real expectations, and New England is
good.
New England now.
Yeah, but New England has the greatest coach in the history of the NFL in Bill Belichick.
That's been debunked for a couple years now. That
I was just gonna say.
Are we sure?
I think so. As much as I think Bill Belichick is a good coach. Yes, I think he runs a good program. Yes, but I think when Tom Brady up and left, went to another team, and was it next year or the year after?
No, it was literally their first year.
Won a Super Bowl. I think that pretty much okay, so it was mostly Tom Brady. I don't know how else you how else you cut that.
Yeah, I agree that it was obviously there was more Brady than Belichick. Obviously, Belichick is he is he's a brilliant mind, but I think part of their demise as well is he's also their GM, and clearly,
I thought that dog was their GM.
Well, apparently, but
makes great draft picks.
Excuse me, but
Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Not sponsored, by the way.
Unless you want to give us a boatload of money, in which case, come on down.
I'll just take free mac and cheese.
I don't think that's how you do that.
You don't know how it works. I don't know. It's worth a shot.
Give us a bunch of money, and we say we love mac and cheese.
So interesting little thing, a little wrinkle to think about with the AFC North here.
Had a little
all
wrinkle,
four
man.
teams are on a 2-game win streak. Personal biases aside, which team do you think is going to go 3-dub?
So we're always like the losers. So how does it feel
Oh, it's easy. It's
in-
Baltimore.
to be in a division that like we're just always constantly fighting. Even though we lose, we're always still there. Like that's just crazy. I hate our division.
Yeah, this division, as if I'm not mistaken, I said this earlier in the year that this was going to be the hardest division in football.
It's always the hardest division in football, Jeff.
Well, no, the reason why I say it is because I think Paulie was trying to argue with me with that earlier in the year, and clearly,
It's always the hardest whatever in football. I hate it.
So
I want to be
Chiefs.
well, not anymore. Go ahead.
Chiefs. So it's Chiefs Eagles currently slated for the Super Bowl.
Wait. Who do the Ravens play? You said they were supposed to go 3-0.
the Cardinals.
Oh, they'll lose. The Ravens love to do that shit.
I think you're thinking about Pittsburgh. They
are you
love
gonna-
to do that shit.
Are you going to put money on it?
The whole AFC North loves to do that shit. I might. I might. That sounds exactly like I'm dead serious. That sounds exactly like a game that they lose.
Can you imagine if they lose, the Browns win, and the Steelers win? That would catapult both teams to the top of the division.
Yeah, and that's how it's gone the last like 2-3 fucking years. And then Baltimore wins like their last 20 games in a row. Like I would almost say take it. I bet you I can't look at my phone because I'm using it right now. I bet you that's a pretty good odds too.
I thought you bought an
payout-wise.
iPad.
No, I have not. I thought about it.
I
It
know.
costs too much.
They do. Last words before we move on out of the football side and look towards the basketball world.
Go Eagles, fly. The brotherly shove is the most OP play in football right now. And the only reason everyone's so mad about it, what?
No,
I hope
what
you're-
you're about to say, I agree with you 1,000,000% with.
The only reason you guys are mad about it is because your team's not fucking doing it. Like I don't see it's do it. If you think it's so crazy and overpowered, then use it on your team. I don't know what else to tell you. Like I like it. I love it. I love it. It works every time. They don't and they I don't know what they do if he just jumps up and curls up in a ball and they just like shove him like a volleyball. But they like move him like every time. It's definitely more than a yard. I like it.
Yeah,
it.
I got no issues with that play. People are just mad. People are haters.
Paul,
Because it's
for
people like
those-
Paulie who would say, Paulie's the type of dude that would say, I want that play banned.
Do you know what we're talking about, Paul?
I'm aware of it, and I generally agree with you guys. I mean, so I'll give you a little aside here. Today,
So for the people listening, what is the brotherly shove?
I'm going to let you tell that story.
The
See,
tush
Paul doesn't know
push.
what it is. The butt fumble. No, it's like the brotherly shove is what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing. Arguably 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 times a game when they're down a yard. And they just line Jalen Hurts up and everyone lines up behind him almost like a knee formation and they just push him across. Which again, I really don't understand what the big deal is. Like it's perfectly legal. Go what you were saying, Paul.
So I was watching the Charlie Brown special, and it's the Halloween special, and they always have the two Halloween specials. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, and I forget what the other one is. But the other one is when Charlie Brown gets turned invisible. He becomes a ghost, and he finally is able to kick the football that Lucy's holding, that she always pulls at the last second so he can never kick it.
I bet you Paulie loves that episode.
I do, because it taught me a valuable lesson. Do what you must do. Cheat if you must. Just fucking win.
That episode also taught me you can't trust these hoes.
Yes.
That episode, Eddie Guerrero was right.
There was nothing in that episode of Charlie Brown that was good about mankind. Everybody needs to understand that. Charles Schultz was ahead of his time.
I got a rock.
You're basically talking to the real life Charlie Brown right now, anyway. So,
Charlie.
all right, boys. So, football season has been kind of fun, but it's almost tip-off time in the NBA. In fact, this Wednesday, the Cavaliers open up the season on the road at Barclays Center against the Brooklyn Nets.
We don't play
Are
tomorrow?
you excited? No.
Technically, we play tomorrow. Technically, today, the Lakers play the Nuggets and the Suns play the Warriors.
That's
Oh,
because
is it only
today
2
is
games today?
As
Today's what?
Paulie was almost as
because
frozen.
today's technically Tuesday now.
Boom.
Good Lord. So, are you excited for Cavs basketball? Are you excited for this season-long Donovan Mitchell love-hate fest, depending on if he wants to stay or if he wants to go, which makes no sense why that's even a thing?
I'm going to do what the
your thoughts?
Dolans told me to do with Francisco Lindor, and I'm going to enjoy him.
That worked out well. That's just freaking terrifying right there.
Wait, he wants to leave already?
Well, there has been some speculation that he would prefer to be in New York with the Knicks.
I thought that's where he wanted to be in the first. I thought that was the whole thing.
That's
in
where
the
he
first
originally
place.
wanted to be in the first place. Got traded to Cleveland, and I think this year is a huge year for that. If you can get to somehow the Eastern Conference Finals, and I say somehow, if you can somehow make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think you can convince him to stay here in Cleveland. If you get another first round exit like you did last season, then bye.
Yeah, but
So are you guys going to be watching this game on Wednesday night?
Considering I'll be at work, hopefully I'll be able to. And then starting on Friday, I'll be able to do a lot more watching when they come home for their home opener against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is a very young and exciting team in the NBA this year.
Big weekend, actually, for the Cavaliers, because you've got Friday night against the Thunder for the home opener, and then immediately after that, Saturday night, Indiana comes to town. We all know what an Indiana-Cleveland game is like. That's almost the rivalry now for the Cavaliers, is the Indiana Pacers. But we all know that when it comes to the East, the buck literally stops in Milwaukee. That team looks dangerous. And that's just being generous.
well, we got to see first. You never know.
Yes, that's true. We always question the quote-unquote super teams that get created and do they have the chemistry, et cetera, et cetera. But early returns look pretty good here. Milwaukee seems like they're just going to run shop and take it all the way to the finals.
Didn't they have like a terrible last off-season game?
Preseason games don't count.
I mean, that's literally like their first couple games that have to do with their chemistry. So they kind of count for a lot.
Oh my God.
Preseason games don't count.
Over here playing with Legos. And what are your thoughts on the in-season tournament this year? Is this something you're for or against?
I think right now we're all just going to be. I think for me personally, I'm a hater of it until I see it.
Yeah, this shit's weird.
If I see it, once I physically see it, then maybe I'll like it a little bit more. But until then, I'm just going to be a hater.
Or he'll hate it even more. Hopefully.
Or that very well could be true. Maybe I say that this shit is stupid as hell. We don't know.
So for those of you who don't know what this is, it's a 30-team tournament that is starting. This is the first year of this. It will start on Friday, November 3rd, runs all the way to the championship on Saturday, December 9th. And all tournament games are going to be played in your team's market except for the semifinals and the championship. And those are going to be played at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It's a single elimination knockout round for the second and final stages. The first stage, everybody plays in group play. The champion will receive a new trophy, which is called the NBA Cup, and a prize pool based on the teams that qualify for the knockout rounds, depending on how far a team progresses in the tournament. There will be a in-season tournament MVP, as well as an all-tournament team. Those announcements will be based on player performance in both the group play and knockout rounds. And this is, I think, the most important part of it. The groups of 5 were randomly drawn within conference based on win-loss record from last season. Each team will play 4 designated group play games, one against each opponent in its group, with 2 games at home and then 2 on the road. Group play games will be played on tournament nights, which will take place every Tuesday and Friday throughout the month of November, with the exception of Election Day on November 7th. I'm interested to see how it could go.
Yeah, that's all stupid as shit.
I mean, we've talked about how many times have we heard, oh, they're resting player X in this game. Now you have a reason not to rest player X, and there's a rule now where you can't rest too many players.
So yeah,
none of them are gonna play in that fucking tournament.
They're not going to have a choice. You can't rest. What is it? 3 stars cannot rest at the same time.
Okay. Let me rephrase this. It's gonna be like a all-star game.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I think
what do I look like out here hurting myself for this fucking in-season tournament?
I think that like what Paulie said, that new rule about you, because I believe it's in order to be eligible for awards, you have to play 65 or more games, and I think the team that this obviously affects the most is it's teams like the Clippers, where it seems like those guys are never freaking playing. They're always doing this bullshit of resting and all this and that. No, fuck that shit.
How dare you take a day off?
So that's the penalty. You can't be qualified for awards.
Well, that's the championship.
And you know what? And I think, and to them, and to a lot of these players, that's a big deal, because when you get involved in these awards, there's a huge bonus in your contract that you can get. So if you say you win MVP, or if you're if you get one of these awards, yeah, there's some money involved in it as well that you can get in terms of a big old bonus.
Well, yeah, right. So that's all good and dandy, right? So if I'm LeBron James, I don't give a shit. I'm still doing what I want, because you're not going to give me the award anyway, clearly. A, and B, I already have enough of those and enough money. So if I'm Steph Curry, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? So if you're all the big
Steph's not that guy to just sit and rest. Steph is the kind of guy to play.
He's definitely rested before, but I mean, okay. He's getting old too.
I did want to quickly jump back to the in-season tournament, because our group is actually pretty solid. You've got Philadelphia, Atlanta, Cleveland, Indiana, and Detroit are the East Group A. And it looks like, based on win-loss record from last season, Philadelphia is the favorite, as they swept both Detroit and Indianapolis last season.
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia's a mess right now, because we don't know what the hell's going on with James Harden either. So, I mean, you get Joel Embiid, who finally won his MVP. I think there's some pressure on Joel Embiid this year too, because I think people want to see him actually go out and win something important.
I was just gonna say he won MVP, but who the fuck cares? They got shit blown out in the playoffs, like trash. Like in my opinion, like that is like the most worthless MVP ever. Because it just proves it wasn't you. You didn't deserve that.
The MVP award, and obviously with football, and it's kind of annoying. Well, actually, maybe not in the NFL as much, because I think at the end of the day, we all know that the most valuable players are almost always going to go to a quarterback, and they are the most important players. So I could get that. But in terms of basketball, it's more of it's the best player award, not who's the most valuable.
Yeah, I agree. Which
Another
is not
thing
how
to
it
think.
should be.
Another thing to keep in mind: a couple of new rule changes for the NBA. The
Yeah,
addition
Paul.
of a second coach's challenge, as well as an in-game flopping violation.
No more LaFlop.
Ooh, he's my favorite.
I'm sure he'll still do it.
Yeah, it's only a foul if he gets caught.
So overall, what are your expectations, I guess, for the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2023-2024? Are we going back to the playoffs? Are we going to go deeper this time?
You
I
better
have no
freaking hope.
expectations.
You better freaking hope you can get farther than winning one game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I have no expectations. Those are bad for you.
What are you, the guy from Dodgeball?
What? Doesn't even make sense.
Oh,
He never said that.
no, but that's the same general principle.
Aha.
If you never have any expectations, you're never disappointed.
I mean, there you go. Sounds about right.
That's terrible. That's terrible advice.
Why?
Be excited about the future. Be excited about what's coming up, because Cavaliers basketball is going to be a lot of fun this year. It's going to be fun to be at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. There's going to be a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. It is a place that you want to be this year. It certainly
But then
was
they'll
last
just
year.
disappoint me again.
Maybe. Or maybe you'll have so much fun, you'll forget any disappointment you had from last season and put it towards the excitement of 2023-2024.
No, I'll never forget.
Ever?
Poor K.
Oh my God. So, last thoughts on basketball before we switch subjects here?
I'll never forget.
For the love of God.
Much better. Not
So,
much better. I'm in trouble.
While our Cleveland Guardians are sitting at home watching, Game
'Cause we're
7s are happening all across the LCSs in the ALCS. Houston falling at the hands of a dynamic Texas Rangers offense and an
Let's
ALCS
go.
MVP, Adolis Garcia, who absolutely destroyed Houston pitching in spectacular fashion. Home runs in 4 consecutive games, the most RBI ever in a single postseason series. He
Jeez.
absolutely dominated a pitching staff that was widely regarded as the best in the entire postseason.
After getting struck out 3 times last night.
And you know what? Here, I'm going to say something.
He's
about
going to
that
say it.
series. So we almost had. So there's this thing. It's called the Pauly Jinx.
Oh, good God.
And what I mean by that is, whenever Pauly says something, the opposite typically happens. And this almost happened yet again. Pauly
he
started
tried.
talking his shit in our group chat about the Astros, saying that they were done. Immediately, it was almost immediately after he said that, the Houston Astros go on a tear and they go on and win 3 straight games to 4. And then here we are, end up in a game 7.
Okay,
Yeah, see,
just so you know.
if you never would have said that shit, we could have been enjoying this a lot earlier than it was. But instead, we had to endure the pain of Houston almost winning again.
And as Paulie earlier mentioned, he almost did his infamous face of
First and foremost of all, it should be pointed out that in the entire ALCS, the road team won every single game. The last time that had happened was the 2019 World Series. Game 7 specifically was started by Max Scherzer. You guys both questioned Max Scherzer as the Game 7 starter for Texas.
I never questioned it because I didn't make a comment on it.
That makes you guilty because Justin did make a question about it, and you didn't escape culpability.
Because I'm pretty
pitch
sure I was
that well.
doing something when that conversation was going on.
I mean, it's a lot different. To be fair, it's a lot different when you're already up by 3 runs before you even take your first pitch. I'm just saying, good for him. You're right. He pitched all right. He didn't pitch great, but he pitched all right. But again, it's circumstances feel a lot different when you're already up so much.
And then you have a guy like Jordan Montgomery who can come in and give you 2 or 3 innings and just absolutely blow away Houston. Like,
yeah, I was late to the game by like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and Javier, was it Christian Javier was already out of the game.
1/3 of an inning.
I was like, oh no, this is great, but oh no, in a good way. Like, oh great, this looks like things are going well.
Christian Javier gave up 3 earned runs on 4 hits with a walk in 1/3 of an inning.
Screw him.
After that, it was game over. After that, it was game over. Brian Abreu, by the way, went 1 inning, gave up 2 earned on 1 hit, and struck out 1.
Wait. So he like won his thingy or whatever?
It's going to be next season, and that's the part that I'm not happy about.
I thought it was supposed to be today. Whatever, fuck him. I'm glad they lost even more.
That's the question, because MLB decided that the suspension for Brian Abreu would not start until the start of the 2024 regular season. That seems like a bad decision and a bad precedent for Major League Baseball to set, because now what would have happened? What if Houston makes it to the World Series?
You can just beam people now.
Apparently,
it doesn't even matter.
Apparently, and I'm against that. If Houston gets off the hook on so much garbage, it's not even funny. And I was reading all these Houston comments. Oh, we're getting hosed because we have to wait until game time to find out when Abreu is going to pitch. You guys still have a World Series that you literally fucking stole.
Why are we acting like Brian Abreu is like this great ass pitcher or something like that?
He's a go-to guy for Dusty Baker.
He's good. He was decent, but like they're acting like this dude's like Jesus Christ or something. He ain't that good.
And speaking of Dusty Baker, reports are coming out that he may be calling it a career now that the 2023 postseason is over for his Houston Astros. He's reportedly expressed to multiple individuals inside and outside the organization that the 2023 season will be his final. With respect to Dusty Baker, because I believe he is one of the greatest managers in history. 0-4 all time in Game 7.
In Game 7s. Yep.
That's rough. That is rough. He's not ass. He is one of the best to ever do it.
He ain't got that dog in him.
He's definitely not the best to ever do it. The dude was handed a fucking stack team. He's no better than Mike Tomlin. So
I saw that coming and I couldn't stop it. Oh man.
So I mean, yeah, he's pretty much ass. Ass confirmed.
Excited for the Texas Rangers go into the World Series? 3rd time in franchise history, 2010 and 2011 previously.
Here's what I'm going to say. So one of my good buddies, his name is Todd. I'm giving him a shout out. He's one of my cigar buddies. He's from the Philly area. He is a huge ass Phillies fan. Just for that. just for that, I'm rooting for the Phillies.
You know they have to get there first, right?
I thought they already
get there first, right?
I'm
They have
still
one more
rooting for
game
the
to win.
Phillies.
Well, speaking of
If they would have won today, they would have been in, but they couldn't do it. Bullshitters.
Speaking of, the NLCS will go to Game 7 Tuesday night at Citizens Bank Park. The pitching matchup going to be Ranger Suarez going for the Phillies against Brandon Pfaadt for the Diamondbacks, who looked fantastic.
Brandon who?
Pfaadt.
You can't be cursing on the podcast, bro.
Oh my lord!
Right, what the fuck are you doing?
Pfaadt looked fantastic in his outing. 9 Ks in his previous NLCS appearance.
Fighting fantastic.
Oh my lord! But
Look at
Ranger
my little
Suarez
creature.
has been a go-to lefty for the Philadelphia Phillies. His 4-6, 4.18 ERA may be a little bit sus. This is going to be a very good pitching matchup, I think.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I will fully admit this. The amount of playoff baseball that I have watched is virtually zero.
Bro, what? Dude, you're missing the best shit right now. This stuff has been off the charts.
It has been nothing
it's been nothing but what?
We're in football season. That's all I ever care about.
Yeah, you're missing out. You can watch
You know
both.
how I am.
I don't understand.
It
like,
is
you can
football
watch
24/7, 365 for me.
You can watch.
There's literally no football going on
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
There's I could watch college football tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, there's a span going on where there's 50 straight days of football, where there's some sort of college football going on every single day.
Well, congratulations. You're ignorant. You're missing out on the best shit.
And plus, typically I'm at work, so it's if I can't watch, I can't even watch the Cavs when I'm at work, or I can't do so.
I mean, you can still watch the highlights. I'm just saying you're missing some good shit though. On some real shit. These games have been crazy, and for betting too. If you're better, bet on MLB playoffs because they hit like crazy. I don't know. Shit's been off the charts.
The charts.
I mean,
Game
Garcia
7
had how many home runs? Didn't he have 2 home runs tonight or something like that? Schwarber
and the Grand Slam in Game 6.
Yeah, Schwarber hits a home run every other day. Listen, I hate Houston. But that shit's still wild watching Altuve crank that home run. Everyone was saying it should have been Chapman. I'm just saying it's been some good ass games for sure. That's why I'm mad at this guy. Paul doesn't even want to fucking talk about it, little jackass.
Game 7 of the NLCS, which will determine the National League representative in the 2023 World Series against the Texas Rangers, who have home field advantage for the World Series, is Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on TBS.
Dude, if the Phillies don't win, I swear for God.
Hey, it's all right though. If the Diamondbacks win, then I can pull out my Randy Johnson Diamondbacks jersey.
You've never worn that.
Yes, I have.
Oh, you did wear it to one game.
I've worn it
even
a couple
Diamondbacks
times.
game. No, you've worn it once, and that's it.
No, I've worn it a couple times. Not with you guys for baseball, but out and about, I've worn it a few times.
You have other friends? How dare you?
By the way, the last time both LCSs went to a Game 7, not that long ago, the pandemic season of 2020.
Not that long ago.
I do not sound like that.
That was only 982
mad.
days ago.
I really want that to be correct.
I don't know if it is. I just kind of threw out a bullshit number out of my ass.
I'm mad the Phillies are making it take this long.
It's Philadelphia's first loss this postseason was Game 6 at home. That has been a great ballpark for them. I was looking at the numbers. MLB Network had a special about this. It is statistically the best home field advantage in the postseason in baseball history. Something like a 780 win percentage with 20 plus games played in that ballpark in the postseason. It is stunning how difficult it is to play in Philadelphia in October.
Can we also? I have one fun stat about these playoffs that is kind of fun.
I enjoy a good stat.
For the first time since 2016, when Paulie's Cubs won the World Series, we will not have a World Series that would feature the Astros or the Dodgers.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm glad to see some fresh faces.
And it was also nice to not have the Stankies in the playoffs either, because fuck the Yankees.
We really should get that sponsored.
Yeah, it definitely is nice to actually now that you mention it, I forgot how happy I am. Now that the Astros are eliminated, the World Series is going to be fun to watch no matter what.
Because whoever wins is like, all right, cool.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, definitely. That is, yeah, you are right. I'm cool with that, actually. I would have been okay with the Dodgers winning. I was okay with the Yankees making it back until I realized that they're pieces of shit and their manager's a piece of shit. So
as long as it wasn't going to be the Yankees, which I mean, they didn't even make it to the dance. As long as it wasn't them, the Astros or the Twins, I was okay with whoever.
Twins gave a good fight though. They gave a good old AL Central try. They gave it about as good as a try as we did last year.
It's going to be interesting on the National League side to see which of these teams can come out and make it to the World Series. Remember, Philadelphia won it all in 2008. The Arizona Diamondbacks won it all in 2001. Texas, the only team out of those three that are currently eligible that has not won a World Series championship. Who do you give the edge to out of those three teams?
Whoever
Phillies.
wins.
I agree. Whoever has the ball last.
No, I don't know, man. I just feel like with the way that Philly has been playing, they're just on a whole nother level right now.
Yeah. Okay, you say that. Did you see the fucking Texas game today?
No.
Every team, and did you see the Diamondbacks game today? Dude, all three of these teams left vying for the World Series trophy are on a crazy hot tear. So that's what's going to be real. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Jeff. You're missing it. Like this World Series is bound to be insane. So regardless of who goes, regardless if it's Arizona, I think the Phillies will make it, should make it. I think they offer a better chance at actually winning the World Series than the Diamondbacks do. Diamondbacks pitching just definitely isn't all there. That's for sure.
But
see, part of my issue is I want to watch that game, but there's New Mexico State at Louisiana Tech that I could watch too. I'm just kidding.
No, you probably are going to watch that.
No. Or if I wanted to, I could have the option of Liberty at Western Kentucky.
So, remember, because Jeff, you weren't with us when we did our MLB season wrap-up, but Justin, you remember I told you if Arizona got past Milwaukee, they were going to be dangerous. I didn't necessarily think they would make it all the way to the World Series, but here we are, one game off from making it back for one of the very newer expansion teams. Keep in mind, this franchise has not been around more than, 25, 30 years. They're actually celebrating their 30th season this year. It is amazing what the Arizona Diamondbacks have been able to do. And I'm a huge fan of their manager, Torey Loballo. He is a fantastic manager, and I'm glad he's finally getting the recognition on the main stage on the national platform that he deserves. He should have been there a long time ago. I'm excited.
He pulled Kelly a little early.
That you could argue that he pulled Fott a little early.
Well, apparently that's his thing.
He it's all hands on deck for Game 7. You got to get there.
Okay, right. And the inning he pulled Kelly was the inning that Kelly struck out Harper and Schwarber.
The statistics said you had to pull him. I hope you guys are ready for this because that's what's coming to Cleveland baseball. You want an analytic front office, you got it. You want an analytic manager, you're going to get it because that's what we're heading towards.
Yeah, I think people of Cleveland are sick and tired of analytics based off of the football team, but
The World Series starts Friday night on Fox at 8 p.m. It's going to be a fun World Series no matter who comes out of the NLCS. And I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk about that next week. But before we go, it is time for our double play tradition. It's time for my one thing.
I'm going to start with this one. My one thing is that more baby back bullshit things are going to come out about the University of Michigan, and some punishment's going to come down because cheating bastards. It realizes why they beat us the last 2 years, because them cheating lying bastards have been cheating, trying to steal signs, and I have some bookmark tweets in my binder right now of more evidence that them cheating lying bastards have been cheating. And yeah, fuck Michigan.
Did you call the commish?
I'll call them
Hey,
right
boss,
now.
I got them pictures of Spider-Man like you wanted.
Hello?
J. Jonah Jameson. Somebody continue. I can't go with that one.
My one thing. Is this something we hope for or something we think is going to happen?
We've never really established that. We just make it positive. So something positive. I'm really not sure how to go with jokes.
I really want the Philadelphia Phillies to get back to the World Series. And I really want them to win the World Series. Like, really badly. I think they have earned it. I think they double shocked everyone with if they don't get back, that's going to really break my heart. I'm mad they didn't win today, but I think they're going to end up winning this World Series. That's going to put another cap in Bryce Harper's put another feather in Bryce Harper's cap, who might arguably be on the path to one of the best baseball players of all time. We can argue that another show. But, I mean...
In the offseason, I think we're going to have no choice. We'll have to bust out that conversation at some point for the baseball side of things.
But I think the Philadelphia Phillies will win. Is it tomorrow? Like tonight? Whatever?
Tonight. Tuesday night.
Hopefully they win their game. That's all. I was trying to think if I had anything else, but I don't.
Don't worry, I don't have any charities or anything like that to plug to make you look terrible, okay? Everybody knows I love baseball. So I'm that guy that watches spring training baseball in February just because I love baseball. And I distinctly remember watching a game between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Los Angeles Dodgers in spring training and going, I feel bad for Arizona because they have a good team, but they play in the same division as the Dodgers, so they've got no chance. That would have been roughly March 12th, I'm going to say.
2 days before my birthday, by the way, a national holiday.
God.
AKA Pi Day.
By you. Here we are now on October the 24th. And boy, was I wrong. And I'm happy to say it because
what's new, Paulie being wrong?
Arizona fans deserve a chance. Even if they don't make it to the World Series, they deserve this chance to support that fan base, that team through what they've gone through. To have to go up against a Dodgers dream team every year and somehow not only survive, but thrive and put together a great team with Ketel Marte, Lourdes Gurriel, Christian Walker, Gabby Moreno. And that's not even looking at the pitching side of things and just what Merrill Kelly and Brandon Pfaadt have done has been absolutely spectacular for a team that I honestly overlooked in spring training. And I apologize to Arizona, and I apologize to Arizona Diamondbacks fans and that front office, because you guys
All
put
8
together
of their
something that
fans.
I didn't see coming.
And by the way, Jay
I
looks
think
like
it's going to be a fun World Series.
Jay, while you were talking, it looked like you were trying to take an oath of something. You were just sitting here like, I, Justin Gross, do solemnly swear.
Because Paulie
follow
wasn't.
the
Because
Constitution
Paulie
of the United States of America.
Paulie wasn't wrong. They did not finish first in their division.
No, in fact, they were the 6th seed, and they are 1 game away from being 4 games away from a championship.
They
You're
won't
5
win,
wins
though.
away from winning it all, and that is
They won't
absolutely
win, though.
unbelievable.
They won't win, though.
My one thing, though, my positive thing, I think that the World Series is going to go 7 games. And Game 7 is going to feature a pitching duel. I don't know who yet, but I think Game 7 is going to be a pitcher's duel, and it's going to be a 1-0 game.
So that means it's going to be like a 13-12 game because
Right.
Paulie said it.
That's how Paulie logic works.
And it's not going to go to a game 7. It's going to be like a game in 5 or something.
Yeah, Philly's probably going to sweep TBH. Go Phils.
Hello.
All right, guys. I think that's about all the time we have for you here today, this evening, this afternoon. I don't know what time it is. It's dark outside. Let's go with that. So, special thanks to our buddy
That's a cool tiger.
from the Renegade Roundtable and from Kirby's Corner, I guess, as well. He's doing his thing on YouTube. He's doing his thing across the socials. You should check him out. You can see his social media thing at the bottom of the screen. If you're listening in on the podcast version of this, that's at Jeff_Kirby412. I am at Paul H. CLE. Justin is gross. I don't even know what your Twitter is anymore. X.
Something
Sorry.
like that. No, I have a Twitter.
Oh my God. All right,
it's not
boys.
my Twitter.
Fun as always, and we will do it again soon. Enjoy sports because it's one of the most wonderful times of the year.